Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Pisces July 2023 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for soul illumination. So hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lauren, and in this reading today, we're going to be taking a look at the energies for the month ahead, which is July. And we're going to start by first pulling some cards to see what's going on with you, Pisces, what you're bringing personally into the month. And then we're going to look at an energy that Spirit is asking you to embrace by the end of the month so that you can really be able to allow a blessing to come in or dissolve a block that's currently stopping you from really allowing the flow of abundance to come in to your experience. So we'll jump right in here. Oh, and there you are, Pisces, at the bottom of your deck, which is great. We have the Knight of Cups. So you're coming in here, Pisces, with the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is a card where we are taking a moment to stop and reassess our physical experience and where we're really looking at, are we getting the results that we had intended out of the efforts, the time, the energy, the money we've been putting into something? And should we continue to invest in the way that we've been investing those resources because we are either happy with the outcome or with the results, or we're going to adjust how we're putting in those resources because something is not quite right? This is a time of reassessment. Now, in your external environment, you have the Five of Pentacles. This is a card that really speaks to that kind of poverty mindset of, I will never make enough, I will never have that amount of money. If I choose to continue to put time and effort into something, it might only lead to me being kind of either people turning their back on me or people not supporting me in a physical way. And there really is this feeling here then with your own energy coming in. It's the feeling of getting reacquainted with the Knight of Cups, which is the hopeful romantic. This is the individual who goes out there from a place of what he loves, what kind of on an emotional level stirs his soul, and he's ready to go out there and share that openly with others, and is excited, is hopeful and optimistic about the adventure, about who he's going to meet and how he's going to be able to spread his message of hope. And underneath that, we have the Eight of Swords and the Four of Cups. Yes, you've been held back for a while now because there's been a level of disconnection, emotional disconnection, possibly a level of discontent with your current experience. That's what the Four of Cups speaks to. It says when you're really looking at everything in your life outside of yourself and you're like, that doesn't really do it for me. It's like, my work could be more fulfilling. I could be with a better partner. I could have more hobbies that excite me. And there's just nothing really on the table that you're like, this is my cup and my emotional connection to life. It can also be where we are kind of not engaged with a support group, where we feel kind of like we're on the outside of friend circles, or this can be where we're looking at, because the Three of Cups can represent community, anywhere where we feel like we can celebrate ourselves openly with others and where we can do the same for them. And this may be feeling a little bit like you're on the outside of that. And yet here's the hand of the divine saying, remember your cup. Let's stop focusing so much on what's external to us and start focusing on what you have to share with others, what you have to be happy about. What's the dream? What's the adventure you want to go on? And for many of you, you've been kind of in a mental place of entrapment because of this, just this kind of emotional disconnection. And that can often lead to then us feeling like we really can't see a way forward, like we don't know how to get back into the feeling of the hopeful romantic about life again. And I think this is where finally getting back into your energy, it's almost like kind of coming awake, where you're looking at your surroundings, you're looking at what you have. And to have Seven Pentacles is quite a bit, especially when you're looking at it in relationship to the Five. You have two more Pentacles than the Five, where this is the feeling of, I don't have enough, I need more, and there's no one here to help me with that. This is the energy of saying, okay, well, I've gone past that point, but now what do I need to do with my resources, with my physical experience, so that I can start to grow this and make it more of something that I am emotionally attached to, that is part of my hopeful, romantic adventure in life. And this month is going to be a month where you're really going to be asked to face where you've limited yourself based on a sense of, I could never make that much. I could never, if I tried to pursue something that excites me on an emotional level, it's going to lead to me being out here again. It's going to lead to me losing something in the end. This is really about facing a poverty mindset. And I can say for Pisces, I feel like a lot of the readings I've had over the past few months has really been about value and self-worth, honoring what you're kind of worth both in the work environment but also, so honoring what you're worth in the physical, but also what you're worth to others in your life on the emotional level as well. Okay, ooh, I love it. Queen of Wands at the heart of your reading. Now, your main challenge here is the Princess of Cups, which is the Page of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. Now, the Page of Cups in the tarot speaks to kind of, I always look at it as the representation of our inner child. This is the part of ourself that just holds our cup. It's what we love. We express openly and optimistically and honestly from that place, and we almost in a naive but innocent way share it with others. But there's something here around wanting to embrace that energy, I think, but it's wrapped up in the energy of a really deep hurt or wound, a time period in your life where that inner child had to be repressed, or where the inner child within yourself was emotionally wounded. And so there's a hard, it's a hard point for you to kind of be able to bring this part of yourself back out, that innocent part of yourself. And I think what Spirit's asking you to embrace this month to help you overcome, I think, the fear around honestly and innocently and hopefully expressing yourself and really bringing that into water. When we think about pentacles, they are seeds. They hold the seed of potential to manifest in the physical. Our cup is the love that we have for ourselves, for our own needs, our own dreams, and it's how we emotionally then nurture the seeds in the physical that we're planting. And so there's something here around really needing to get back in touch with your life on the emotional plane so that you can water from your own emotional connection. You can start to support the seeds you've already planted that are taking root and producing and bearing fruit for yourself. But Spirit's asking you to get into the Queen of Wands energy. And the Queen of Wands energy, as you can see here, she's a fiery individual. She is, I like to say that she represents kind of the witch archetype in the tarot. She is the individual who has a magic wand, and she is going to make what she wants happen where she is. She blooms where she's planted. If she wants to go out for a night on the town, even if no one else wants to go out, she's going to get all dressed up and go out. If she wants to grow a row of flowers in the desert because she loves flowers, well, she's going to pull out her magic wand and make it happen. So there's something here around really getting in touch with your passion, with your fire, and understanding that emotions don't douse our passions. Sometimes we can think about, if we throw water on a flame, that it can put it out. And instead, in our kind of spiritual experience, that can actually create almost something new. That's how when we think of the on a temperance card, that's what that card speaks to, is bringing those two aspects of ourselves into in together to create, to transmute, to create alchemize something new. And when you think about pouring water onto a fire, think about all that steam that's released. And that steam can actually be a new form of energy. That steam can actually be the catalyst to propel something forward. And so there is this feeling here of kind of stoking the engines of your steam engine here with your passion, with your flame, saying here. And she's also someone who's seen. She's like, here I am, see me. But it's almost like the inner child these two aspects of yourself need to come together. The part of yourself that's like, here I am, you walk into a room, heads turn, people are like, damn. But then there's also this like hidden part of you that's soft and vulnerable and innocent and maybe even silly. And it's like in between those two people is the pain, is the wall, where you might show some people one side of you and you might show some people the other side of you, and you're being asked to bring these two in together to start to go forward as the knight here on the horse, as your energy. Now, on the other side of this is the Four of Pentacles. Now, I'm just going to say here with how these are coming up placed, the Ten of Swords right here, this is your main challenge point, is to face the Ten of Swords. To face, and I love it, Ace of Cups is your secondary underlying energy. This is the ace coming in, the divine right here. This is the divine offering you a renewal of connection to yourself, offering you the cup of spiritual renewal, of new love even. But what I was saying here with the Ten of Swords, you're being asked to confront this within yourself. When did this wall come up that separated these two aspects of yourself? And how can you really face that and almost like put it to rest? Not to say that you have to completely forget that it happened, but really understand that these two aspects of yourself are very powerful when they are combined together. Now, on the other side of this, we have the Four of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. The Four of Pentacles is where you have been holding yourself back. The Four of Pentacles is actually where we get to that place of security in the physical. It can be like where we finally have enough money in the bank. It's not ideally what we ultimately want to have, and it might not be enough to buy that one thing we really are saving for, but it's enough to say, I'm safe, I'm secure, I know how to manage my time and energy and resources just enough to make me feel like, okay, I'm solid. But it's also where we are holding ourselves back from taking one of those pentacles and investing it here in the Seven of Pentacles, to take it up a notch to the Eight of Pentacles, where you then become the master of something, where you then now are the expert on something. And I think for many of you, you're afraid to do that because the fear with the Three of Swords, which is the wounds of the past, is that if you do that, you'll wind up being left out in the cold. That either this is maybe investing in a relationship and you don't want to do that because in the past you lost money and you had to split everything down the middle. This could be in a work environment. You're like, I don't want to go out and invest a little bit more in my education or invest a little bit more of my time, because the Four of Pentacles can just also speak to time. It doesn't have to speak to just money when we're thinking of the physical. And this could be like, well, if I invest a little bit more of my time, in the past, that got me nowhere. I tried to start a business on the side and no one bought what I wanted to sell. Or I tried to take a course the last time, and when I came out with my degree or my piece of paper, well, I wasn't able to actually capitalize on that, and that was just money lost. So there's something around facing the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords. These are two very painful things. Three of Swords are all just the wounds that just continually plague us in the mental space of, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, I'm not lovable, I'm not capable of rising to that level in my work environment, whatever it is. And the Ten of Swords is where we were brought to our knees, where we went through it and it was very difficult. And that was the split. And this could be something that happened a long, long time ago. This could actually be something that happened in your life when you were a child, truly. And you had to kind of adopt these two sides of yourself to learn how to adapt. You had to hide one part and pull out another part, if that makes sense. Or this could be something that happened if you're, let's say, kind of in your later years in life. This could be something that happened in like your early adulthood, where you did go through a divorce or the death of a family member or getting fired from a job. And it was, there's all kinds of things that can happen in that way, where there's like this kind of split that then we will never show that part of ourselves again. And it's time now to bring these two together, to have the Queen of Wands be the face person. Understand that that is who you are. You can show yourself like that now all the time. But it needs to be backed up by the real authentic you, by the silly you, by the you that just openly and vulnerably says what you love, by the individual who's optimistic and excited about what they're going to emotionally connect to again in their life experience. Because that's going to give you the courage to go from the Four of Pentacles and level up to utilizing one of these pentacles to invest in your experience differently, to start to grow this 7, which you've been kind of looking at like, should I or shouldn't I? So we're going to get a little deeper in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifiers. I mean, for some of you, this could literally be, saying, do I want to go back out onto the dating scene again? I've gotten to a certain level here, and maybe the one thing that's missing is the romantic partner in my life. But what's holding you back from putting the money down to join the dating service, or what's holding you back from starting to go out and just sit at the bar and have a drink every night, or whatever it is because of the pain from past relationships. I'm trying to think of some other examples here. So I'm going to start pulling some clarifiers. So for the Princess of Cups here, so this is what I was talking about. Here's the Temperance card. This is saying it's time to bring into moderation this part of yourself, this highly emotional, vulnerable part of yourself with the passionate part of yourself. And when you bring those two together, it's amazing what can be created. It can't be all or nothing. All right, so we have the Emperor. Yes, standing in your power. There is a feeling here where the inner child part of yourself may have been put down by authority figures in your life. This might be where you felt like that part of yourself was squashed, or again, told that part of yourself couldn't be seen. And it's time now to realize you get to take on the Emperor energy now in your own life. You get to take back control from whoever took that control from you around allowing this part of yourself to be seen and integrated into your present day self. Okay, let's see here with the Ten of Swords. What do we need to know about this really dramatic or traumatic event you guys went through here? The Star. Yeah, there's something. The Star is a beautiful energy of really us understanding what is that guiding hope dream for ourselves. And for some of you, I love it in the Chariot. For some of you, this Ten of Swords moment was really difficult because it was something directly tied to a dream you were moving forward towards, something that felt like this is it. This is going to be my forever home. This is the way forward. And there's also a possibility here that this could have been when you kind of hit this point, that might have actually showed you. It's interesting. When we get to a really low point in our life, it's almost like when we get to that point where, we can't go any further, so all we can do is go up from here. Sometimes in those moments, that's when we get very clear as to what went wrong, right? Where it's almost like we get to that point and we're like, oh my gosh, I started this journey with the anticipation that it was going to end up in this way. And wow, how did I get so far off course? And I do kind of feel that for you, that there's almost this feeling of kind of like looking at that going, wow, how did I get so far off of what I had initially wanted to go towards? Or how did I get so far away from the pursuit of a dream? But now you have the chance in reviewing this for yourself, or in just even reviewing this time in your life, you might actually see, I think, a dream that you really want to commit to now, that it's time to get moved. The Chariot is getting back, so it's actually the Emperor who is the charioteer in the Chariot card. So this is almost like getting back into the power of your own life, saying, I'm going to step up into the Emperor. I'm not going to let someone else from my past who maybe derailed my dream allow that kind of the pain of the past, the echo of the past to continue to derail me. it's saying it's time for me to step up into take the emperor's seat myself, kick out whoever kind of usurped that from me, step up in there, and it's time to go towards that dream. And this can be on any level. This could be like you realize, oh my gosh, I always wanted to have the farm in the middle of some place, where I was going to have 125 acres and I was going to raise cattle. And then I got into a relationship and that person broke my heart and they forced me to live in a 2-bedroom condo in the city because that was their dream. And then all of a sudden now you're realizing, what the heck? How did I let that person, and maybe since you've broken up, you've lived in that 2-bedroom apartment in the city and you're like, I'm not connecting to this lifestyle. I'm not connecting to it. And it's like now you're realizing, well, I'm not connecting to it because it was never my dream to begin with. Shoot, time for me to get back on track and start to change something in my physical here so that I can start to get back on track with having that farm and my 125 acres. There's something like that this month. I think that's going to come in and it's going to be like, but it's going to be scary, right? Because it's going to sit there and if let's say using that as the example and you're like, oh my gosh, but then I have to start looking into like what that actually entails. What does having a farm with 125 acres actually mean? And how do I start that process? And can I actually go out there kind of as this hopeful romantic with these rose-colored glasses saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually sacrifice. I'm going to sell my condo. And I'm going to take one step towards that dream. And I'm going to face the fear that it might not work out because in the end, I have gone through something, I've survived, and I'm never going to let go of that dream again. That's the Queen of Wands. And I just got goosebumps saying that. So yes, this is for you guys to remember that dream, to really evaluate where maybe someone came in or a circumstance came in and took power from you where you kind of derailed yourself from following that dream. Yeah, we have the Hanged Man. Seeing things from a new perspective. Seeing maybe why things haven't been working out. This can actually be with the Hanged Man and the Three of Swords where you're seeing now maybe why you had to go through that pain. You're seeing why, how maybe that's made you stronger on a certain level and created this other side to yourself that's actually very powerful. But I think also now you might be seeing the Three of Swords from a different perspective because you're realizing that's other people's perspectives. This would be like, your ex's voice in your head saying, you like maybe their dream was to live in that 2-bedroom condo and maybe they wanted to save and buy the penthouse and every day, and you didn't want to do that. You didn't care for that. And so they would tell you, well, you're just lazy or you just can't make enough money or you'll never amount to the man I want you to be or the woman I want you to be, something like that. And now you're seeing it from a totally different perspective and realizing, wait a second, like, no, I am fully capable of making money or I am fully capable of achieving the level of financial abundance I need to make my dreams come true. It's just I didn't want to do that. That didn't work for me. And so there's something here around that where it's like maybe you're realizing now where your own kind of magic and your own kind of passion got stifled because these other people's voices were in your head whispering to you and you're realizing, wait a second, someone else took my authority from me and then told me I was weak and not taking control of my own life. That's kind of the gist there. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles coming up as clarifying for the Four of Pentacles, which I love. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords, and then we have two more cards here, the Ace of Coins, and the Knight of Wands. Okay, so Three of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords. This is when we are trying to not, we're trying to avoid either collaborating with others or we're trying to, because when we think about going from the 4 to the 3, right, that means that you're having to kind of go backwards. You're having to take one of those pentacles and put it somewhere else so that now you have just the 3 again. And for many of you, you're holding yourself back from doing that. And the 3 of Pentacles is a very powerful card. It's one where we actually get recognized for the gift or the talent or the something physical in our experience that we have to give, and we get to bring that into collaboration with others, to build something that all of those individuals have in common, something that they all see. It would be like everyone saying, this is the building we want to create. You are the expert architect. I'm the expert interior designer. And this is our general contractor. And we're all going to get together and we're all going to invest our piece and we're going to make this happen. But there's something here around, there's an avoidance. It's like, you want to build something new. That in reality, you might have to collaborate with others to make this dream happen. You might have to bring other people into your experience, and there's a not wanting to do that, or there's an avoidance, or trying to get away with something here. And this is showing you do have the Ace of Coins. You have something coming in that that is new, that is fresh, that you can invest in. And the Knight of Wands is the energy of Sagittarius. Is the person who's kind of goes out there and does what feels good, goes out there with his passion or her passion and just says, I want to see if I like this. I want to see for some of you, this Ace of Coins could very much be that you all of a sudden you just have more time in your experience and you can actually start to utilize that time to go out there and re-engage with your passion. This could be where you're being asked to kind of shake up your routine and just start going out there, maybe take a new job for the heck of it and see if you emotionally connect to that more. Or this would be like saying, if I actually want to have that farm with my 125 acres, well, instead of sitting here and avoiding knowing that at some point to make that dream happen, I'm probably going to have to connect that, what I have resource-wise, with other people who will help me, with a real estate agent who's going to help me find the land, with someone who's going to teach me how to raise cattle, with, fill in the blanks. But the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands says, you're free right now. Your real gift is your ability to kind of maneuver and play with life right now. So this is asking you, where can you shake up your routine and invest just a little bit of time, energy, or money to start to figure out what passion has long been hidden behind. If you could see all of those negative things you've put on yourself because of other outside situations and other people, if you could see all of those and turn them on their head and say, well, wait a second, those are all coming from outside influences. That's not me. I'm not the one saying I can never, make that much money. I'm not the one saying that I'm lazy. I'm not the one, whatever. And suddenly you're like, okay, well then what can I be capable of? But where does my magic lie? Where does my passion lie? And there's something here around that is like, this month it's time to reconnect again through what you're passionate about, but also understand your true gift right now is your time or your freedom or your flexibility in changing up your schedule. Now, with the Three of Swords, you have the Moon and the Nine of Coins. Now, the Moon is a card where, the way's a little unclear. It's kind of like you're asking the universe to say, well, how will this end up? If I do change this up and I do kind of maybe take that vacation, or I do start looking into that hobby, or I do start to, I find a farm that needs help and I'm going to go learn through volunteering my time on the weekends to see what goes into having a farm. This is saying, well, is it going to work out? Am I going to get a return on my investment? Or am I going to be left out in the cold and have just wasted all my time and energy again? The Moon comes in and says, there's no, you have to go on this on faith. That's what the Knight of Cups represents. Going out there on faith, the hopeful romantic, the individual who says, I'm going to try. I'm going to just do it because I feel that I want to do it, because I love this. And the Nine of Coins says, it actually speaks, I think, a lot to many of you are in a very independent comfortable place, financially or physically. You have quite a bit of abundance. And it's saying, how can you really take a look at that and enjoy that? But also for those of you who are hoping, like, is this what's going to happen? Am I going to go from the 7? Am I going to invest the gift here and go from the 8 to the 9? Maybe. But that's not a guarantee. That's not the reason why you're doing this. It's not the reason why you're getting back into the driver's seat and pursuing a dream. The reason why you're doing all of this is not for the bottom dollar at the end of the day. The reason why you're doing this is to bring yourself back into alignment. The reason why you're doing this is because we become emotionally connected to our life again through the Ace of Cups when we honor the dream that lies within our heart and we go out in pursuit of it. It's kind of like one of those things where we don't always get what we want, but we get what we need when we are courageous enough to go out in pursuit of what our heart yearns for. And then at the bottom of this deck, so your third underlying energy is the 5 of Cups. And yes, here is the pain. This is the disappointment. This is something that didn't work out. This is the same 3 cups here, but now they're spilled over here. And there is a feeling here of, again, something didn't work out. And so that might be the fear, the echoing here between embracing the new fresh start, Ace of Cups, the renewal of who you are on the spiritual level, and the pain of the past where your cup wasn't honored. And this is a beautiful month to get back into the driver's seat of courage through what you love and following that, pursuing that dream, taking back control in your life and getting back into that driver's seat and investing in yourself, investing in your dream. Okay. So I'm going to go back here, and there's a tone here of optimism and faith. Optimism and faith. And I found in my own life that the more I adopted optimism and faith during some of the hardest points in my life, the more I was rewarded as I went down my path. And I hope that for some of you, that's something that you do take to heart. Okay. So let's see here, Pisces. I'm going to pull a energy oracle card now to kind of get a better idea or sense of what the energy is going to. Ooh, that's quite a bit. So let's see if we can get just a few less. That was like 6 cards. A little too much energy there. So we're going to see if we can get just 1 or 2, please. Get a little bit more clear on the energy for the month of July. Okay, we have attachment number 5. And you can see this individual here. She's holding up a mask. It always makes me think of the Phantom of the Opera. But number 5 is the energy of change. This is asking you, when I think about the relationship between the Page of Cups and the Queen of Wands here, there is this feeling that the mask is the Queen of Wands, and that the real individual who is the Page of Cups is the individual that needs to get in the driver's seat now. Even though you're being asked to really embrace the Queen of Wands energy, which is that understanding magic, the magic you have to manifest comes from your passion. But that passion can't just be passion. That's when we become kind of vapid, or we become very materialistic, or the individual who's just all about what they look like, or all about what they can draw towards them and attract towards them, almost like in a manipulative way. We need to have that Page of Cups underneath. We need to have that innocent part of ourself there as well to balance that. And I think for many of you, there's long been that part of yourself that's been hidden, and it's time to bring that part out, allow that part to get into the driver's seat, to just say, for the love of the dream, but also integrate now this the mask itself. It's almost like you don't need the mask anymore, because the Queen of Wands is you. You've become the Queen of Wands. You are beautiful and alluring and attractive in your own way. But now it's time to bring in the innocence. Now it's time to bring out that emotional side to you that, again, is simply just for the sheer love of it. I'm going to pull a couple clarifiers here for this. Okay. So what part of yourself can you realize? And there's the Queen of Wands. Yep. That's it. Here it is. It's saying that had been your mask for a long time. And maybe you were really attached to that, trying to, it's like putting on the mask and trying to pretend that you are that person. But now that is you. That is a part of yourself. You don't have to pretend anymore or wear it as a mask. You can just integrate that as part of your more mature self. Let's see if anything else wants to come out. I think Queen of Wands might just be enough there. Yeah, I don't feel like anything else wants to come out. All right. So yeah, this is time to embrace that the Queen of Wands is not the thing you have to hide behind anymore. It is a part of yourself that you can openly say, this is me. But there's also a part of me that is the innocent version of myself, is the individual who just has dreams for the sake of having dreams. There's the person who just vulnerably wants to share what they love. And when you bring those two together, that vulnerability is what will make the Queen of Wands even that much more attractive. And when I say attractive, it doesn't mean physically attractive. I mean attracting things and people and circumstances to her that are going to manifest the dreams in the physical reality that you are looking to believe in. It's also a strong energy of believe. Pisces, I feel like I'm watching a Disney movie right now unfold in front of me. Let's see what surrender to trust. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Believe, right? Believe. And here it is, kind of in black and white. It says surrender to trust. It says trust yourself in your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Love it. Yeah, and that right path starts with you following your heart, following the dream, getting into the driver's seat of your life and saying, I'm going. And I'm going because this emotionally connects me to my life. This emotionally connects me to that innocent part of myself that I want to experience more of. And I'm going to do so by also having the confidence in myself to understand that I am the Queen of Wands. I don't have to feel like I'm faking it until I'm making it anymore. I am that individual. Okay. I'm going to pull a final card here for let's get one last final message. I'll read the little excerpt that comes in the book with this deck, and then we'll leave it there, Pisces. I love this reading. Beautiful reading. Okay, so we have, what's interesting is alchemical. So, again, that temperance energy, that tempering something to create something new. That's really what's been going on here. So it says alchemical mutation, number 31, breaking down to the number 4 in numerology, which is all about building new firm foundations. So I really like that. Okay, so let's see here what it says. It says, your spiritual growth is changing your mind, body, and soul. It is very real. It is helping you fulfill all aspects of your divine destiny. It is awakening spiritual talents and attracting in new energies. This process will bring tremendous joy and satisfaction. And I'm almost getting that feeling, kind of like what I was saying with the mask here. It's almost like when you think about this mutation, it's almost like the mask you wore for so long, your face just kind of took magically on the aspects of that, and now you don't need that mask anymore because that is you. There is that feeling that it was kind of this, and it might have been painful, again, it might have been this painful healing or painful changing process, and I feel for many of you it's done, or this is the start of really leaning into that. It says the body changes as light enters. Alchemy is catalyzed and transformation happens. Sometimes the appearance of the body changes. There will be change in how the body feels, responds, acts, and creates. Radiance increases. Lightness of being increases. If you have clairvoyant vision, you will see the increase in light, as though the person is actually lit up from within, because they are. Spiritual abilities become grounded in the body, and the person can channel healing energy just as naturally as they would set the dinner table. The spirit becomes a living reality in the body, and the material world is experienced as an extension of the divine light. I love that it says the spirit becomes a living reality in the body. It is almost like finally there is a time here to get out of this level of disconnection, and you're like grounding yourself, into your physical experience, and going out into the world to manifest that. I also love how it says right here, this alchemy is an empowering gift of love. Yes, and here's that gift of love, Ace of Cups. Love of yourself, love of others, but more specifically, the love of your needs, your dreams, and what can be possible when you go out there to, with faith and trust, believe in yourself, believe that these dreams are meant for you to manifest. And when you go out there on faith, knowing that life is a great adventure. And again, we won't always get what we expect or want, but we will get what we need. And in the end, again, great courage with hope and faith comes great reward. And in my experience, that reward is so much more than we could have anticipated for ourselves when we start down that path. We think we want one thing because we are so limited in what we think we can bring in for ourselves. That Five of Pentacles, we think all we can have is that farm with 125 acres. And then suddenly, as we go down that path, we realize we could have the farm with 1,200 acres, and we could start a whole, who knows where it will lead you. This would be like something where you realize you want to start a dude ranch, and you want to have people who come and stay, and then all of a sudden you have a youth organization program that you work with and provide free services to. It's like those are the kinds of things that sometimes we don't anticipate. We think, well, we're just pursuing a dream. We're just pursuing that we want to be in a romantic partnership with the love of our life, and we want to get married and have 2 kids. But we don't realize that in pursuing that, it might take us to another part of the world. Maybe we meet somebody that lives in another place, and suddenly a whole aspect of our experience gets opened up simply through changing geographic locations because of the person we originally went out to seek and thought we would find locally, and instead we find out in the great wide world. So there's something out there in terms of kind of expanding to give you that hope, to give you the faith in yourself and the faith in following a dream, that when you do so, you're following something that's much bigger than even what you can see from this point. And it will be much better than the rewards that come from your courageous, hopeful, optimistic steps forward on this adventure will be rewarded in ways that, again, you can't even anticipate. All right, I will leave it there, Pisces. I hope you all have a wonderfully grounding month of the love for yourself, grounding it into the physical, and getting ready to just kind of repeat that mantra, I believe that dream can come true. And if you have to watch a bunch of Disney movies, we'll go ahead and do that. All right, Pisces, if you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I do post a weekly collective reading along with then short readings for each sign each week, just to kind of take a look at a more finite energy pool there. If you'd like to see those, you can subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified as soon as those videos are released. Otherwise, I will see you all in August's Illumination reading. All right, bye, Pisces.